everything else that Robin wanted to talk about in a couple minutes.
When did you see the sign?
Seniors.
Hi, welcome back. We're with Robin Bilazarian, psychotherapist for 40 years and author of Tapping the Mighty Mind. We're here to talk a little bit more about, you want to touch on two other things, pain
and stress.
And stress.
Okay,
So,
So I've been doing this modality for 22 years, actually. In the last year, I went to 2 workshops a year ago on pain management, and I have always been taking down pain. If you'll follow me for a second, if you can find the bone in the pinky and the bone in the ring finger, there's a little indent in there. And I have been doing dental pain for the last dental procedures for the last 18 years, only holding this. And what's pretty typical is when I go through all the acupressure points so I ran this workshop to 40 nurse managers, and for stress, by the way, because that's where I'm a psychotherapist. And by a show of hands, there were 11 people that had pain, and when we were done, 3 people had pain. And I thought to myself about a year ago, having attended these 2 workshops, one in upstate New York and the other one in Texas, that I should do more with pain because I do know how to do it, and I'm very concerned about this opioid epidemic. We have people all over the place who started with pain and now are addicts, and they started with a football injury and now they're being revived by Narcan. And I know how to do it, and I've been refining it for the last year. I've been running workshops. I ran one at a hospital-based women's group, and everyone's pain came down. I ran one within the hospital. So it's kind of a passion because we've got to help these people in that area, and this modality can do it. So there's 3 levels to this. The first level is this point right here, and I'm going to turn my hand because it's easier to see. And I'm going to ask True to. So this is the pinky, this is the ring finger, and and this is incredibly light touch, okay? And so Truda, you said that I asked her at the break, she said she gets a little tension in her forehead. 0 to 10, what is that tension right this second?
It always feels like a 6 or a 7 right before I'm going to present something.
So I'm gonna ask Truda to hold this, okay? And
here?
Truda, I'm going to turn your hand if you don't mind, and I'm going to touch her, which I never do, but and it's right there. And it's incredibly light touch. And I'm going to ask her just to hold that, okay, and to get comfortable with it, okay? So this is one level, and when we're doing this, we usually hold this for anywhere from 15 to 20 breaths, although the workshops I've been running now, I've been holding people here while I just go and introduce the workshop. I'm going to hold her there, and you too if you want to on this video. So really where I end up running the most workshops is probably stress management because we are all stressed out. Since 9/11, we are just all stressed out. Everybody's short-staffed, everybody's running on overdrive. I think the computers have made us smarter, but they slow us down in my opinion. I used to be able to pull out a chart, read it and go, and now I've got to wait for it to click 5 times before it will show up on my screen. So I think there's a lot of things that stress us out, okay? So I've held her here for 15, 20 breaths. Let me just see if there's any difference in her. To tune into that pressure in your forehead, does it feel any different at all?
It's interesting because I don't feel the pressure on my forehead.
Okay, and that's very typical.
I'm really
so
shocked.
this is level 1, if you will, of how to manage pain, just using this point. And again, I do all dental procedures like this, and I'm not brave, okay? So now we're gonna go through all of it. So
Wait, can I just say that it feels like it just dissolved down.
yeah,
Is that what the sensation you're supposed to feel?
yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
It really is cool.
It's pretty cool. Okay, so sometimes, most of the time I can get a good amount out of this, but if I can't, I'll go into the stress management. You did tell me something you're stressed about. I did forget. Oh, she wants to be perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
Everything that I do, if I'm presenting a house down
Okay.
the shore, or if I'm doing a show, or anything that I really care about,
Okay, so tune into that, okay, and I leave people there for 5 seconds, whether it be this or whether it be very grave trauma, okay? And 0 to 10, how worried are you about being perfect? 10 is the most, 0 is not at all.
Well, I think the perfect has to do with not wanting to disappoint someone.
And what
so I want to
number?
give my full 100%.
What number? 0 to 10? 10 is really incredible, 0 is not at all.
Well, you know, It's usually like a 6,
It's like a
just in the
6.
beginning.
And by
then
the
it-
way, the reason that we use the numbers is just to give us feedback. If we held this and we didn't have a number, so let's say we started at a 4 and then we're at a 1, it's feedback. And it's like, wow, something did happen here. Okay, so follow me, and you're all welcome to follow me too. This looks like a karate chop. We're gonna hit 11 points. Again, very light touch. Top of head. Inner eyebrow. Outer eye. And under the eye. Under the nose. Under the lip. Light touch. And collarbone. By the way, this is an eyes open technique. You don't want to meditate on problems. Under the arm. They call this the gamut spot. That's that pain point that we just were at. And this here's a heart hold. So each round of this is 30 seconds. We tend to do it in series of 3s. So let's add the words. And Trude, I'm going to have you say, I'm okay,
I'm okay,
even though I must be perfect.
even though I must be perfect.
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 Under the eye, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
Under the nose, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
Under the lip, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
And collarbone, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
Under the arm, for women, by the way, it's where the bra strap hits. Guys, 4 inches below, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
Over to that gamut spot, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
Okay, so that's a minute. We'll go one more time. I must be perfect.
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 Under the nose, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
Under the lip, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
And collarbone, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
Under the arm, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
Over to that gamut spot, I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
And I must be perfect.
I must be perfect.
Okay. Tune into that desire to be perfect. And 0 to 10, where is it right this second?
It feels like it dropped down to a 4.
To a
3
4.
or a 4.
4. Yeah, and that's what we're looking for. Every 3 rounds, we're looking for a 2 to 4 point drop. Okay. All right.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, and so so again, this New Englander can't believe that I'm doing this because it's just too way out, but you can't walk away from it after you've seen it, okay? Now, we just went through it. I just want to check her pain, okay? That forehead pain. I think you started at a 6. Where is it now?
I would say it's a 3.
It's a 3, okay? So in a minute and a half of doing this and maybe holding this for another 30 seconds, we've taken her down faster than anything else I know because Tylenol and Aleve and all those, and even Xanax, they all take about 25 minutes to kick into your system.
I love the idea that it's a healthy remedy. So
It is
in
a
a couple
healthy remedy.
minutes, we're going to come back again. I might take a nap. I might be asleep when you come back because Robin's calmed me down so much. So we'll be back in a couple minutes.